Hey Watchaholics, welcome back to the channel. Guys, today is going to be a very different day, a different time actually. It's going to be a little bit of a different time for the channel because if you have been on my community tab, I hope so. Not a lot of people go on there. I think that's something YouTube's trying to figure out. But I did post up this little guy up here a while ago talking about how going forward in solidarity with the strike, or the SAG-AFTRA strike, I would not be covering any more struck content on the channel. Struck content, for those of you who do not know, is any content that is basically from a studio that the union is striking against. So that would be Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Paramount, anything on those channels. I kind of stopped with Heartstopper. Heartstopper and The Summer I Turned Pretty were actually allowed. I don't know why. But anything after that, I cannot cover, or I just don't want to, because at the end of the day, I'm not in the union, and I'm not in the union. I don't know if I would ever really become a part of the union. That's a big thing with content creation, is it's a very weird line these days on what you can and cannot cover. So I've just decided to just cover my butt for any future purposes, whatever, to just not cover any struck content. But because of that, obviously, my channel's being very much affected by that, because what I do for you and what you really enjoy are my reactions. So for those of you who do not know, going forward, what I'm going to be doing is just a lot of different, I'm going to be trying a lot of different things, so I hope you guys bear with me. But the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be introducing a podcast series on my channel. For a while now, I've actually had a podcast, the Watchaholic podcast, which I would do topics and other, I would talk about topics in the entertainment industry. I would review movies, TV shows, anything related to the entertainment industry. I would talk about it on my podcast, not necessarily on the channel. But now, because we in difficult times, my cousin Rodney and I, we are the ones that pretty much kind of go on the podcast and talk about these topics. I've decided to move the podcast also into video form here on the channel for you guys to watch. I will be releasing an episode at least once a month of that podcast. You know, we're still getting schedules because this is very last minute now that we've decided to do video. Today's video is pretty much us just talking about the SAG strike, how it's really affecting our industry right now and moving forward. We talk about our thoughts on Barbie. We talked about Oppenheimer, and just in general about how the industry is really being affected due to the strike and what it means for the studios going forward, what it means for actors, what it means for us as moviegoers, as people who watch entertainment on our screens. So that will be introduced here on the channel. And then I also will I think still be covering, I'm pretty sure, yes, I don't think, I am, we'll still be covering Love is Blind. So if you are one of my subscribers who really enjoys watching my Love is Blind reactions and recaps, those will be coming up next week. Now that will be coming up, and I do believe I will be covering The Golden Bachelor on here. This is going to be new territory. I kind of got a split view on what people wanted, but I personally really want to watch it, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of put it on here on the channel, and hopefully some of you will enjoy it as well. I'm also going to be diving into doing more rankings again. I had a moment there where I was doing a lot of rankings for stuff, and then I kind of just let that go and I just did reactions. But remember, guys, I love you so much, but I don't just want to do reactions for the rest of my life. I want my channel to be a place where we can really discuss all kinds of things. You never know what this could evolve into. You know, right now I'm fully doing reactions because nothing else was really working before, but I kind of just want to continue to grow with you, and I hope that you will want to stay with me as I continue to grow and try different things on the channel. I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a ranking of the summer characters and summer shows that we watched together, like Heartstopper, This Summer I Turned Pretty, and Queen Charlotte. These are all shows that we've kind of covered together in the last couple of months, and I thought it would be fun to do a ranking of all of those characters and all of those shows. So if this is something you're interested, please comment down below. Comment, I will be putting another community tab out with some poll options, so please vote on that. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really, really loved it. I love talking with my cousin Rodney. We've been doing it for years, even before we did YouTube, before we were on podcasts or anything. We've always been the type of people that called each other after a movie and just talked for hours about what was going on. So without further ado, this is the Watchaholic Podcast series.
but it worked for some
Yeah, the
people.
Barbie movie is not for everyone. I really liked
It
the
wasn't
Barbie
for
movie.
everybody.
It
I really
wasn't for
liked it
everyone.
too.
I
No,
really
because you
liked
see
it
a
though.
lot of people. You see a lot of people online raging against it. A lot of like, oh, it's like
But
a
why
man
were
hating
people saying anything
movie.
bad about that movie? Like I don't understand. I'm like,
Because
why? Because they talked about like women? Like I don't I literally don't understand
yeah,
why
because
people
we
were
live
like,
in a society now. Yeah, we live in a society now where people we live in a society where people you know uh when there's agendas in films, people take that and run with it. Oh, it's an agenda for hating men or making men look bad or this and that. And it's like I could listen. I saw the Barbie movie. I enjoyed it. I could see why people may feel that way watching it
mm-hmm,
because it didn't in the movie itself. It didn't necessarily, you know, put the men in the movie in a great light. But this is how I see it, and as we talked about it on the podcast, is there's demographics. Some movies are
yeah,
made for certain audiences. That movie was made for certain audiences, even though I'm a man and I'm comfortable enough to go see the Barbie movie. I had no issue seeing it. I wanted to see it because it was a really good director that was shooting it, and for all intents and purposes, a lot of people that did see it enjoyed it. So I was like, you know what, I want to go see this thing. I enjoyed it, and a lot of the stuff they talked about, I could look at and as a man relate to because just because there's topics that involve women, sometimes don't necessarily just mean it's for women. You can look at that as I could look at it like that as a minority.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I'm a Latin male. I'm chunky. I'm in a minority. I'm in a group where maybe if
yeah,
I'm in a group of people that don't look like me, I'm gonna feel the way maybe the women in the Barbie movie felt. I think we can all find ways to relate in certain things. We don't have to just be a woman and be like, oh, that movie's for women. I'm not gonna see. It's like Expendables 4 is coming out. Who's that for? Is that for like
I've never seen
men?
one of those movies.
No, but I'm just giving you an example. It's for
Oh,
men who are like
yeah,
action
yeah,
movies and that's it. But
yeah.
there's women that
No,
like action movies and they'll see
yeah,
it. It
no.
doesn't matter. It's
I
about what you like.
But it's also because of the world we're living in now where this is a
Yeah,
very big topic. I mean,
it is.
I
It is.
Rudy was actually Rudy my husband. I like to, my husband. I'm a husband now. I
Ooh.
know. So Rudy was actually the one who kept saying like, "When are we gonna go watch Barbie?" And I was like, "You want to watch Barbie?" Like I was completely shook by this because
Yeah.
Rudy's not big into movies like I am. So the fact that he wanted to go see this, I was like, "All right, well, this must be the thing. So we should make an event." And we went, and he was awake the whole time, was smiling and laughing. He really liked this movie. I think he doesn't want to admit it to me, but I think he really liked that movie.
I
But I
mean,
really,
but it's it
I liked it.
it
I
was a
thought it was
phenomenon. It was a phenomenon. It's the high.
yeah,
First of all, it's the highest grossing movie in Warner Brothers history. It passed Harry Potter, the
it's
last
mind
one.
blowing, mind
It passed The
blowing.
Dark Knight. Like you got to think
Yeah.
about what this movie is, and it's a phenomenon. It's the highest grossing movie of the year. Which let's
Yeah.
be real, 100%. A lot of people didn't expect. Well, a lot of people expected it to make money. A lot of people did. They
Yeah,
did,
because it's
but not to the
Barbie.
amount. Not to the
No.
amount that it did. And
Yeah.
it's a global phenomenon where they're saying they're gonna Warner Bros. Attempt supposedly they're gonna put it up for awards. They're gonna put Ryan Gosling up for best supporting actor. They want to put Greta
Oh,
Gerwig for best
wow.
director. I heard they're trying to push it for best picture. I mean, they're trying to push it for a lot of different things for
Which
award season, which is
I
kind of I
I
think it's kind of cool. I think it adds a little wrinkle. It makes the Oscars interesting. Hopefully, the strike will be
yeah.
over by then. So let's see what happens. All I gotta say is, the Barbie movie. I thought it was good. Was it the most amazing thing I ever seen? No, but it doesn't have to be. It made
No.
it, and most importantly, though, it made bank for not for the studio because the studio's already rich. But I'm happy for two people. I'm happy for the director, Greta Gerwig. It's always good when you see a woman um, direct a film and just be huge. That's good because it gives a lot of opportunity to other women to do things and
Yeah.
do those types of movies. Because I think she did. Was it Little Women? She did a remake recently of something. It
Was
was.
it Little Women? What did she
It
go to?
was one.
I don't know
It
much. I
was one
actually
of
don't know
those
that much
films.
of her work, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's cool that she came from these humbling beginnings of like indie films, and look what she's doing, and that opens up the door for more women and more just regular people to come in and make that. I'm also, and we talked about this, Mel. You know who I'm going to say? I'm extremely happy for Margot Robbie because there was a
Yeah.
lot of conversation out there, a lot of
Woo!
BS about, oh,
So
Margot
much.
Robbie can't lead a movie. She bombs.
Yeah.
She bombs. She ain't bombing this one, and this was
Oh
her movie.
no.
Granted,
This
she had
was
a really good supporting cast because she did. She had an awesome cast, but this was her movie. She led it, and she
yeah.
was really, really good in it. I got to give that
She
woman
was
credit. She brought it.
yeah, she was very, very, very good in that movie. And yeah, the supporting cast as well was really, really good. Yeah, I yeah, I agree with everything you said. I agree.
Who was your
But
favorite character
anyway,
in the film? Who was your favorite character in the film? Before we continue on,
my favorite character in the film.
I want to see
Ooh.
maybe we're on eye to eye on this one. I mean,
Oh
okay,
God.
there's
I,
a few characters that I liked, but there's one character that I was like, okay.
okay. I I really liked. I did really like Ryan Gosling in this film. I thought he was a
Hmm.
standout, and I did really like America Ferrera as well.
Yes, yes. That
I
speech
did
she
really.
gave in that
Oh
movie, in that
man.
part,
Oh,
I had
that
my
I mean
audience
that
was great.
sold it.
Everybody
That
clapped.
really
Everybody
sold it.
clapped.
Oh, oh,
Everybody
that's
clapped
good.
in the theater.
Yeah.
It was a great speech. And again, that's one of those speeches where you could look at it and a lot of those people, those pundits that were against the movie, like, oh, well, that's a man hating speech. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's
It's
really not. Because if you
we,
listen to it, she's
yeah.
talking about everyone. She's talking
She's talking
about
about
everyone,
society.
society in general, because she even mentioned,
Yeah.
why do women hate women, this and that. You can take
Mhm.
that speech and adapt it to you and put yourself
Mhm.
in that, and she's talking about you, she's talking for you. I loved it. I thought
Oh
that
yeah.
speech, if they ever do a award thing, and let's say for instance, America Ferrera gets some sort of nomination. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she isn't. That'll be the little scene that they put for her when her
Oh,
time comes up.
absolutely. And everybody was talking
Because
about it
she
after
nailed it.
because it
She
that
nailed it.
it
She
she
nailed it.
nailed it. That really sold that movie.
Yeah.
It sold it for me where I was like, "Oh, okay, this was freaking awesome." Like I really love
Yeah.
this. And I did think that Ryan Gosling was perfectly cast. Like I didn't
Hmm.
think it was weird. Like it was such a weird character, but you could just tell that he really just went into the the weirdness of what this character is. Like he was
Hmm.
just like, I'm just going all in. Like I'm leaning into what this character is like supposed to be because it's like so weird because he does seem very like plasticky at points where you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it really is like a doll.
Yeah.
So I I don't know. I thought he did really good in this film, and then I also just really enjoyed the uh aesthetic, the effects, the
Beautiful.
way that the way that they made it look like it literally, and I told you this in a text message, it really really like brought me back to like when I used to get the Barbie sets for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'd get so excited and you had like the little house, the dream house, you had the little
The
sections, like
cars,
oh,
everything.
and the
Yeah.
cars and like the food and like it was just
Hmm.
so great. Oh, I loved it.
Fun
I
fact.
loved it.
Fun fact. Did you hear that supposedly because of this movie, there was a shortage of the color pink for
Oh, I'm not
painting?
surprised because everybody's buying everybody was
They
buying
said
stuff
it.
that was pink.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about during the filming of the movie because they actually filled. They built those
Oh,
sets. There
yes,
was
yes,
a
yes, yes.
shortage for the color of pink because because the set they needed all the pink available
All the pink.
for that
I'm not
pink
shocked.
in
Mhm.
particular. It's crazy. That
Oh, I
just goes to
understand
show
it.
you the amount of work that they went into making this film and the amount of love that they had for it. Like I gotta respect that. Like
Yeah.
when we talk about filmmaking like that on that level where they're not cheating, it's not green screen or anything like that. It's practical sets, practical, which I will talk about a
Mhm.
film that's very practical later on. But you gotta love that. Like it adds to the authenticity of the film. And when you see the movie on the screen, you can see you're not being cheated out of it.
Yeah.
It's not a green
No.
screen. It's
No.
not the volume. It's like no, this is a set. We built this
Set.
house. We built
Mhm.
this little neighborhood. This is what this is, and it makes it real. And it also helps the actors. It makes the actors. You being an actress, oh shit, look, they made the Barbie plus. I feel like Barbie. I have this awesome looking
Yeah.
outfit. You know what I mean? I have this crazy makeup. Oh, by the way, my overall favorite character. I loved America Ferrera, but I love the Wild Barbie, the one that I forgot her name.
McKinnon.
SNL act. Kate
McKinnon.
McKinnon was awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
Kate
she was
McKinnon.
good.
She's awesome. She's really good
Yeah.
in everything she does. I know everybody hated that Ghostbusters movie. I thought she was great in it. I thought she was funny. I like Kate McKinnon. I do.
You
And
like her? Yeah, I never had a problem with her. She was funny.
in this movie, I thought she brought it, and there was something about her that was wacky and stuff, but it was
Hmm.
something also about her that was kind of endearing. I liked it.
That was something.
Yeah,
Well, this was something about the movie that I also like because going into this, so many people were "What? What is this movie about? Like, what is this?
yeah,
How is this gonna be translated? Like, what is the point of it?" And like going into it, like I really didn't know, and I loved the
mm-mm.
aspect of it being like, "Oh, you're the person who's playing with you in the real world is going through something and now it's affecting you, which is why all this stuff is happening to you." And I'm like,
That's cool, man.
oh, this is where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole time I'm like, how is she supposed like is this real life? Like what does this mean, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I
Yeah.
loved the that part where she meets the creator of Barbie,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. But anyway,
I liked it
we
a
didn't even
lot.
do an introduction. We just
Oh
went
my god,
right
I'm so
right
sorry. We
into
just
this.
went right
It's
in.
okay.
Right.
It's fine. Hey, Watchaholics, welcome back. I've got my cousin Rodney here with me today, and as you can see, we're just going to
What's
be
up,
chatting
bro?
all things movies as we like to do here. Um, Especially with the whole SAG after strike still going on. It's been going on since
Mm-hmm.
July. It is now September. I do not know how long this is going to last, but because of that, obviously here on the channel, I'm not going to be covering anything that is struck content. So I will be just talking about anything that floats my boat, I guess, these days. So
Right,
I've
right,
got
right.
Rodney here with me, and yeah, today I kind of just want to talk about the SAG strike, the future of the industry, superhero movie fatigue because it's a big one, guys. It's a really, really big
Mm-hmm.
one. Ronnie and I talk about this
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And basically, how, it's really affected how we watch movies today. Um,
Yeah.
Now, one thing I do want to say about the SAG AFTRA strike situation is I personally don't know how long this is going to last. And you had mentioned just now, you're like, well, hopefully by the Oscars, it'll be over. The Oscars are
Mm-hmm.
normally in February. It's not looking good because as of now, there hasn't even been 1 ounce of movement. No one has said anything. I literally like every maybe like once a week, I will go on the SAG after like strike update website to see if anything's been going on, and also if something happens, like it's gonna be like
We'll
obviously
hear
said
about
right
it.
away. Well, we would hear about it, and like you haven't
Mm-hmm.
heard anything. But what has been really nice is I actually went on the think was it the Instagram page or the Twitter page, I don't know, of the SAG strike, and you could see like all the people that are out there supporting, like big name actors are out there like on the
Yeah.
picket lines. I was really shocked. I
Well,
was
we were
like,
just
okay,
talking. Margot Robbie joined the picket line too. Margot
yeah, uh huh.
Robbie,
Colin Farrell,
the
did you see
biggest
that?
star. Yeah, yeah, big
Colin
stars. A
Farrell
lot
was
of big
there.
stars. Yeah,
Bryan
even from
Cranston.
the small screen, you saw a lot of but the whole cast of Better Call Saul was there.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
it's you're seeing a lot of people from the big screen, from the small screen, everybody kind of supporting all these actors that. And let's be 100% real. When we think about actors, we always think about the big stars, but
Oh yeah,
the
the one
majority of these
percent.
actors that are in the SAG union are don't get paid very well. They're extras. They have minor speaking roles. They're not the $1 million per
They're not Leonardo
movie
DiCaprio.
types. No, they're not. None of these people are.
It
So
makes
a lot of
one
these
percent.
actors,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
One
a lot of
percent.
these actors are on strike to help those people out, and they know it. They recognize it. You always hear. I heard who was it? Um, the actor from Better Call Saul, the main actor. I'm skipping on his name. I feel so bad
I've
because
never seen Better
he
Call
spoke
Saul.
so eloquently about it. He said, I'm good. He's like, I've been in this business for a long time. He's like, I've done very well. I'm very successful. He said, but I'm not here for me. I'm here for the other people that aren't like me. And it's true. It's like these people are there, and everybody's kind of organizing and going on the picket lines demanding, for change, because this industry needs change.
Yeah.
You're seeing it now. We've talked about this, Mel. We've talked about the streaming wars. We talked about what are
Yeah.
these studios
Mhm.
doing and how they're
Mhm.
handling things. Um, I believe a few weeks ago, I meant to send it to you. I was scrolling through Twitter, and there was a show on USA Network called Suits. It was very, very popular.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, and it recently got put on Netflix. It was the number one show. I think they said it was like one of the most viewed shows in Netflix history that's like a rerun. I think in a week,
Oh
in
yeah.
like the amount of people that viewed it in a week was like astronomical. And one of the main actors of the show said, "Look, it was like over 3 million people saw it in a week, and I didn't get a single residual check." And that's all because of the whole streaming rights. And that's one
Yeah.
thing that both the SAG and the writers union are trying to fight for, is
Mhm.
for some sort of rights or some sort of pay when it comes to streaming. Because this does when all these contracts were made for syndication and stuff, syndication is different. When it's on regular TV and you see Seinfeld, like for instance here in New York, we have a channel called WPIX. There, they will give reruns of Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld and the rest of the cast and the producers will get a residual because of a residual
Yeah.
check, because
It's
it's
showing on
it's
TV.
been going on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And remember the whole thing that they say, oh, it's great for your show to get 5 seasons, because 5 seasons pretty much guarantees you
Yes,
syndication.
syndication. Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
now that little word syndication is all but it's extinct, because what's happening? A lot of people are cutting cable. They're just going on streaming. And these actors and actresses and producers and writers, they're not getting any cut of anything, because these streamers are like, we're not saying anything.
Yeah.
We're not saying a
Mm-mm.
damn thing. And it's
No.
crazy. It is unbelievable what's happening. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of streaming companies, they don't release their numbers. They don't. You know what they say? Oh, yeah, we're doing great. You know why? Because most of these companies are run on the stock market, right? So
Oh.
if you're telling your stockholders, oh man, this company's doing well, they don't need
Yeah.
to know the numbers. Because if you drop numbers, then and you know that these numbers are low, then the stock will hurt. The only time a stock hurts, or the things they do really say, is when they say, "Oh, we've lost X amount of subscribers." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
which
That's
they always
when
do for
things are
Disney
revealed.
Plus.
But they have to reveal that, because
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
different type of thing. You have to reveal that. But in terms of how many people view things, they don't release that, because they don't want the creators of those contents, those directors, those actors, producers, to know. Why was it for a long time during? And I'm bringing it to fucking the Snyder movement and all that, which I was a part of, not whole handedly, but the whole Snyder thing. That was my shit. So anyway, like I wanted to champion that whole thing. And everybody online, everybody that was for the whole Snyder cut thing, all they wanted to HBO Max to do was like, yo, release the numbers. Why haven't you released the numbers? Because the numbers have to be really good, because this whole campaign started from a grassroots movement online.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
numbers have to be good. They never revealed the numbers. Never. Never. So they
Never.
revealed some numbers, but even those I think are bogus. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because they don't want to show these directors and these producers, oh yeah, you had X amount of people watching this movie. What does that tell the content? The creators, the directors, the actors. That's what's happening. And again, when it comes to this strike and this situation, that's what's going on. Whether it's Max, which is it's nice, it's Max now, Disney
Max. Yeah.
Plus, Paramount Plus, Netflix,
Amazon
um,
Prime.
Amazon Prime, every it's so many now.
Yeah.
Something's got to give, and I think that because of the streaming wars, it's caused like a chokehold on the industry as a whole for content going forward. You know what I mean? And
Oh.
it's a
Oh
scary
yeah.
time now. It's a scary time, Mel. Like, yo, Mel, they've moved a bunch of stuff off of this calendar into next year because they don't have
Because
anything.
no, they don't have anything, and also everything that was possibly going to be coming out is now pushed. Going to be have to be pushed back because no one can film anything. So if you
Mm.
are in SAG, or yeah, if you're in SAG after, you cannot promote anything. You can't film anything. So basically, it's like right now is what's happening is another pandemic. basically. We're going to have a time where there's not going to be new content. It's going to be actors are just on the picket lines, or they're doing nothing. They're with their families because they can't work. Which it's
Mhm.
kind of scary. It is a very double edged sword, as they say, because
Yep.
one, you are on strike for a reason. You're like, well,
Yep.
I want better pay and I want AI to be something that is regulated and not allowed for, especially for extras and things like that. That's a big one with them saying, like, well, we might just scan you once and then we never have to use you again. There goes that person's paycheck and they can't go back to a project.
Yep.
And because of all of that, it's kind of like, well, you have that and then you have the other side of the sword, which is, but then how do I pay my bills? Because I can't work.
Yep.
It's
It's almost like the
you're
studios are
losing.
paying. They're
Yeah.
playing chicken with the people striking. They're
It's
like, well,
it's
let's see who dodges first. Who's
or who
gonna dodge
folds.
first? Who's gonna be
Or
the
who
first
folds.
one? Who folds? Who's gonna be the first one to be like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? We'll take it. And you've
Yeah.
seen a lot of actors and actresses come out and donate money. Like I think The Rock donated
Mm.
like $1 million. I think
Yeah.
Brad Pitt gave money.
I think Meryl Streep too. I
Meryl
think I heard Meryl
Streep.
Streep.
I saw a lot of people have been donating money, and a lot of people have done it
Mhm.
on the low, to kind of just keep things going, to keep food on the table, to keep people's rent paid and light paid. Like people are trying, but that stuff only works for so long. But then at the same time, it's what you said. Studios are going to be hurting too. As much as studios think, oh, we can hold. You know what I mean? Studios are gonna hurt too because yeah, you can move things off the calendar, but you still gotta fill in time. And you know who else is gonna hurt on this? Is gonna be the movie theaters themselves. So we just came out of the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
even right now.
Mhm.
We're in a situation where movies are hurting as it is because that's the other thing that streaming services are doing. They're literally killing people for killing off going to the movies because we
Yeah.
know, oh, well, there's a 45-day window. I don't have to go see this movie in the theater. I can just wait and watch it from home because I'm paying $21 a month for X service. So I'm going to go and
Yeah.
watch it there. You know what I mean? So that's what's
And
happening.
then yeah, and then that happens and then those actors are not getting paid for that
Thank you. And
because
that's the
it's
problem
no
right
longer in the
now.
box office. Like Margot Robbie, like we were talking about with Barbie, she's making money off of that.
Hmm.
But like if the moment that goes, well, that's a good question though. So the moment Barbie goes to streaming, does Margot Robbie still make something off of that?
I think and that's the thing. That's the question that we
That's
have to
a
ask
good
ourselves.
question. That's
Unless
a
she
good
put that
question.
unless she put somewhere in her contract,
Contract.
somewhere in the contract, because remember she's a producer on that movie too, so she gets paid twice. She
Yeah.
gets paid as an actress and she gets paid as a producer.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe as an actress she does, and maybe as a producer she does. I don't know. It all depends on
Well,
how the contract is written.
this literally goes back to the pandemic and what happened with Black Widow. Remember?
Yeah,
With
Black
Scarlett
Widow. Yeah.
Johansson, that whole
Yep.
thing. It was because of that. It was like, wait,
That foreshadowed.
no.
That foreshadowed everything. That
Oh, that
foreshadowed
like
everything. That
everything. Oh wow. Back then we were
And you know
like,
what's
what?
funny? And this also that also just to go back to the pandemic. Remember when it was HBO Max? They did the whole day and date thing where they're like, "Yo, the movie comes out in the theaters, but it's also going to come out on HBO
Oh
Max."
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
what did they do? They went and they paid off everybody they needed to pay off, the
Everyone.
major players of each movie, the main actors and the producers and the directors. That's partly the reason why Warner Brothers was in such high debt. Remember, they were saying, Warner Brothers is in like
Mm-hmm.
massive debt, and they're
Mm-hmm.
still in
Mm-hmm.
massive debt because they had to pay off, everybody, like for Wonder Woman 1984, for Denzel for his movie. They had to pay off Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss for the Matrix movie. They had to pay off a bunch of
A
people
bunch
for
of
the for that
people.
calendar year,
Yeah, you're
and
right. You're
and
right.
and the movies weren't making any money because at the end of the day, yeah, you can go see them in the theaters, but they're also at home. Nobody was going to the movies during the pandemic. People were
Yeah, right.
home, so
Yeah.
those movies weren't really making any money. So it's a
Well,
lot of stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Like these studios, as much as stoic as they want to be, like, oh, we'll play chicken, but we know you're gonna fold. They gotta be kind of scared too, because listen, you can only move so many things off the calendar before you have nothing to move anymore.
yeah.
Like for instance, I'm going off of next year. Warner Brothers moved Dune 2 from, which is supposed to come out in November, they moved it to March of next year. Okay, that's one of the Warner Brothers' big movies. The other big movie that Warner Brothers has coming out next year is Joker 2. Now that's in the can already. That's a shot. Okay, I know Warner Brothers is hoping to God that by then the strike is over and you can have Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga go and promote this movie,
Yeah.
because you
Because
do
if
not
not,
want this movie to come out. And I'm not to say I think it'll do well, but not as well as for like saying like hey we're promoting this movie, because you see this is the other funny thing. I want to scratch your brain on this. Yeah, before the summer, before the strike happened, actors were able to promote movies, and some movies bombed. Like Indiana Jones bombed, Flash bombed. Um, I I don't want to say Mission Impossible bombed because it did make money, but it didn't make the money that people expected, especially coming off of Top Gun Maverick.
yeah.
But two of the movies that came out on the same weekend, you know what I'm talking about, which is
Oh, yeah.
Barbie and Oppenheimer, are two of the biggest movies of the year. And both movies actors were able to promote it. And literally it was on that same weekend that the strike started, and
Yeah.
and the actors off of Oppenheimer in particular, they at the premiere they
Walked
walked
off.
off. They
Yeah.
walked off.
I think it was
But
in London. They were in London, yeah.
They were
Promote.
still able to kind of promote it before it happened.
Yeah.
And then we see post that a lot of the movies that came out didn't make as much money because of the lack of promotion, which kind of tells you that when these actors go and promote the movies, it does help.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't like us. We know we can go on online, we can go on Twitter or X now. We can go on Facebook or Instagram, we could go on YouTube, and we could see, oh, we know what movies are coming out, we know all these things. But a lot of general audiences, regular Joe Schmoes or Jane Schmoes, they don't know what's going on until they say, oh, look, it's Jennifer Lawrence, she's promoting her new movie. Oh, look, it's Denzel Washington, he's promoting his new movie. I didn't know
Yeah,
he had a
that's
movie coming
true.
out.
Yeah.
We know because we know about the calendar. We know, oh, this is coming out. This, da, 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 da.
Yeah,
A
we're
lot of people
movie
go
people.
off of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah.
movie
You're
people.
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people not promote these actors not promoting these movies after the strike happened has hurt it. You know what I mean? And you gotta wonder, going forward, you're moving stuff off the calendar. What happens when you have nothing to move? Is it then that the studios say, okay, you know what? Let's go to the tables and talk.
Yeah.
It's gonna
And
be
then
a
at that
situation where
point
it's
it's
like,
also
what
like
gives?
at what point cuz it is now September. Pretty sure we're going to be going into October for this.
Yeah.
So, and the strike, well, and we can't even forget about the writers. That
No,
hasn't
that's
ended
a
it,
big.
and
To me, that's
they've
the
been on
bigger.
strike since May.
They
Since
go hand in
May.
hand. Think about it. Well, think about their contracts. That was done on purpose. Both their contracts went in at the same time because you need it. They go hand in
Yeah.
hand. If you
But you
do not
can't have
have writers, you don't
writers
have
a
actors to do the
movie.
movie, and if you don't have the actors, then you don't. They go hand in hand. So
And
what
yeah.
I feel is when one goes, the other one will go too. They
Yeah.
both have to be settled. So I don't know, because I mean,
But
if you have
that's
studios, go ahead. I'm sorry.
what I was gonna say is like, but I find it mind blowing that it's been since May and there still hasn't been. I don't think for the writers, I don't think there's been any movement.
No. Well, because the studios are being very finicky on stuff, and the writers are like, well, we know you guys are willing to use AI to write scripts and do this and that, and that whole AI shit is scary,
That's
because
scary.
the
I
thing with
mean,
AI
yeah.
is the thing with AI is AI just doesn't only write. You can have AI pretty much create
Oh,
an actor for you.
Rudy literally listens to Kanye West AI music. And it's like
Mhm.
Kanye West singing all of Taylor Swift's music. Have you seen that? It's hilarious. I mean, it's
It
not
sounds
bad, but
good too.
it's
It sounds like
scary. Like
them.
it
It
just
is.
sounds like them, and I'm like,
I
I mean, I'm
it's
surprised.
Yeah.
Are artists going to be coming next? Or they're going to be like, well, I don't want no AI replacing my voice.
Well, you know what happened? I don't know. I
With
am
singers, I don't know.
I'm paraphrasing. I think somebody submitted a song sung by Drake and somebody else to the Grammys, and it was a song that that person wrote though,
Uh
but they
huh.
used Drake and Was it Drake and the Weeknd? It was Drake and somebody else, but it was Drake and somebody else, yeah, to do this song, and they submitted it to the Grammys, and they said, "Oh, that it's eligible to be submitted." Yeah,
Wow. I did not know
like
that.
if I'm an artist, I'm pissed. If I'm Drake, I'm like, wait a minute, because it costs. If you're a producer and you call me for a song, it costs you at least $1 million just to get me on your song. So you're
Yeah.
using my voice, like, see, that's where you're gonna have to like see this. It's gonna take a landmark case, like a Supreme Court type case, to stop this from happening. Because that's what happened. Technically, that's what happened when the whole thing with Robin Thicke and Pharrell and Marvin Gaye. Remember that they were saying there was some sort of uh copyright issue with that song that they did some years back. What was
I
the
can't
song
remember
again?
this.
It's a huge hit. Uh
Hey,
Blurred
hey, hey,
Lines,
that one?
Blurred Lines. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a landmark case. That was a landmark case because the estate of Marvin Gaye said, "Oh, Smokey's making an appearance." The estate
Hi,
of
Smokey.
Marvin Gaye said um that the song sounded like a Marvin Gaye song, and
Oh.
they did use stuff from the song, but they said because it was the sound and the style of it, that's how it won. And it won that courtroom case, and that pretty
Yeah.
much set precedents. Now that's why now you see a bunch of artists. Now there's a lot of lawsuits going on. A lot of artists are saying, oh, you sound like this song that I did.
Oh, yeah, like
you
the
know
Olivia
Olivia
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo. Yeah,
That
she has a ton, which is
thing.
crazy. Yeah, but it's not only
Yeah.
her. There's a lot of artists that are doing that. Which I'm like, dude, if you're a producer of an artist, how do you not go and clear shit from, like, if you know this is an original track? How don't you not go and clear it from the estate or the licensing fee or the
Mhm.
lawyers of the artist who took it? Like, to me, that's just a total, like, terrible job by
Yeah.
you as a producer. Like, you need to look out for that. But anyway, just to go back to this, and I know we kind of went on a tangent. It's scary what's happening, and these writers and these actors, they have every single right to try to be afraid of what these studios are capable of, because these studios, these studio heads, they don't give a damn, man. Listen, as long as the content is coming out, they don't care. They don't care whether
Yeah.
it's an AI doing it or whether it's, a scab writer or scab actor that they get
Yeah.
that's gonna cross a picket line, and they don't care. They don't give a damn. As long as the content is coming out and it's good enough to draw eyes to their app, or
Mhm.
brings butts in the seats at the theaters, they don't give a damn where it comes from. So that's why I am a little bit afraid of what's happening, because my thing is it gonna take, and I listen, the world is going through way bigger problems than what's happening in Hollywood. But is it gonna take, like, the federal government to step in and be like, hey, listen, you guys have to figure something out, because this is now
Ooh, wow.
hurting. This is not it kind of happened. Um I wanna say it kind of happened during the Major League Baseball strike in the 90s, where it went for, like, the World Series was canceled. It was bad. Where the federal government, I think, stepped in and was like, yo, y'all gotta do something. Because if you don't, we're gonna step in and force shit to happen. So
Oh,
my thing
damn.
is, like, if this goes into next year, does that happen? Again, the
Ooh,
world
I
is
didn't
going
even
through
think
some
about
major
that.
problems right now. Federal government shouldn't be involved in these type of matters, but once it's something that starts affecting businesses, where, like you said, we talked about movie
Like the
theaters,
economy
because
pretty big, yeah.
what's going to happen with movie theaters? And movie theaters are going to be like, listen, we can't afford to keep running, because this is going to go back to a pandemic level issue.
All over
You
again.
can
Yeah.
say, oh yeah, we're going to re-air,
Jurassic
uh,
Park.
like, you could only do that for so much. People
Yes.
and what are you charging people for that? Are people going to go? Are people going?
Yeah,
I
are
mean, I
people
would go
gonna
see
wanna pay
Jurassic Park again. I would
I
go see
would.
Jurassic Park
I
in the
think
theater, but
I
uh,
actually think they were releasing it. I think here in Canada, I think they
yeah,
I think I
I think I
saw it
saw something
somewhere
that
where
they
it
were
said Jurassic
releasing. Yeah,
Park.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, we're gonna see that again when they're gonna start releasing these things, and people aren't gonna go because, hey, listen, you know how expensive living in, like, for me, for instance, I live in New York City. You know how expensive it is to go to see a movie theater in New York, go to movies in New York City. It's
How much is it
expensive.
now? How much is it now?
Like
Like a
sixteen
regular, not
dollars.
matinee. not matinee.
I would say it depends. See, I haven't gone to the movies in Manhattan in a long time. So I'm assuming in Manhattan it's probably upwards of 18, maybe $20. I'm assuming that just
It
because of how
has to
expensive
be.
Manhattan is.
Yeah.
I know me, I go to theater here and I go to Yonkers and it's like $16 pretty much. And that's just a
Yeah.
ticket. That doesn't include popcorn, it doesn't include like a
Yeah.
drink
Same
or
as in
whatever.
Canada. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
And
18,
I go
19.
with
Yeah.
my family. I go with my wife. I go with my daughter. So I'm easily spending over $100. I want to say maybe $120 I'm spending in a movie when I go. So my
Yeah.
thing is people can't afford to do that. Part of the reason why people aren't going to the movies anymore is because it's a lot of people have been priced out. They can't afford it. They can't afford it. As much as you say, "Oh, you can't afford $16." Let me tell you something right now. We live in a very expensive time right now. You know,
Everything is so
um
expensive.
everything is up. Everything is
Everything.
up. And yeah,
Hmm.
they'll give you a raise here and there, but you don't feel the raise because everything is so high up that all the raise is doing is just catching up to where
Yes.
everything is at
So
now.
where you can
So you're not
possibly afford
you
less.
can't
Yeah.
do it. You can't. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's a bad time, and a lot of people are literally just gonna be like, yeah, I can't go to the movies anymore. I'm gonna just watch stuff on streaming. I'm gonna watch my old whatever I have, and wait until people start saying, "Listen, I can't afford this app anymore, so I'm gonna have to cut it."
Then
You know
what?
what I mean? Is
Yeah.
it gonna take
Yeah.
that for
Yeah.
studios to make to do that? Because we've heard the stories of, oh, Disney Plus has lost that amount of subscribers, HBO Max has, Netflix has, but they're still
Oh
running. They're
yeah.
still they're still making a
Yeah.
shit ton of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
these,
Yeah.
like for instance, like okay, Amazon for instance. Amazon is in a situation where if for whatever reason their prime thing is like not doing well in terms of the original content, guess what Amazon has? Amazon has a deal with the NFL, Major League Baseball, so they have live sports.
Yeah.
That's it. You're good there. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's one of these things where these streaming apps are trying to get creative now on what can we offer. you know what can we put out there. Oh yeah, we have a ton of reality shows. Netflix has a ton of reality shows that you
Oh,
watch.
so many. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I covered those on the
Max.
channel.
Yeah, Max has a bunch of reality shows because of
Yeah, they do have
TLC with
some.
all their 90 Day Fiance and blah 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 blah.
Wait, is
But
that on
they have
Max?
that, huh?
Is that on Max
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Because remember that was all part of
What?
Disney. That was part of Discovery. That was on Discovery. That was all. Remember Discovery and
So I
HBO
can
Max
watch 90 Day
merged.
Fiance on Max?
Yeah,
That has changed my
but you
that has
can't get
changed.
Max. You can't get Max though.
Yes, I do because you have a I used your
Oh, but I
thing.
thought I thought. Oh, okay. I thought you had.
I
I
can
thought. I
watch
thought.
Max because I have a VPN.
Oh, all
How
right.
do you
So
think
yeah,
I've been
so go for broke. Go
Yeah.
for broke.
I had no
All right.
idea.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
god.
they have a ton of stuff on. Oh, get ready. Yeah, get ready. I don't watch any of that because I don't really like it. But go have fun. Go have a
Oh,
good time.
okay. Oh,
It's
after we
all
after I
there.
get off here, I'm gonna have to be like
It's
90 Day
all there.
Fiance.
It's all there. Yeah. So that's what
Oh
I'm saying. Like all these
wow.
streaming
Okay.
services, they're
Yeah.
getting creative by bringing in all those reality shows and everything, and that's the way they'll keep up. But I mean, a lot of people aren't into the reality shows thing. And are you willing to pay $20 a month for an app just for a reality show?
No.
I don't think
No.
so. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, I'm telling you, Mel, if we go into next year with this strike still going on, there's going to be an intervention by the government, by the federal government, because now you're affecting the economy on a higher level because of talks not going the way they're
Yeah.
I
Wow,
guess
I've
quote
never even
unquote
thought I did
supposed
not
to.
even think about that at all.
Yeah, and then if the
I
federal
didn't even
government
think
gets
about
involved,
that.
in all honesty, I don't think that bodes too well for the actors and the writers, because the thing is, a lot of these studio heads have a lot of sway in the political world because they'll be like, oh, well, listen, if you side with us, we'll give a donation to
Oh
your
Lord.
party. It gets political. You know what I'm saying? So again, I really hope it doesn't get to that. I hope we get something settled
I hope so
so
too, because
people can have jobs and get paid and live. Yo, you know how bad it's gotten. This is how bad the acting thing has gotten. This is how I know it's gotten bad. Yesterday was WWE Smackdown. It's a Friday wrestling
yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
The Rock came back. The Rock and John Cena are back. Okay,
What do you mean they're back?
they're
Like
two.
doing
They're
stuff?
back. Wrestling.
Yeah, like they were wrestling. That's what I'm saying. Or were they just like there? What do you mean like they're back?
They were just there, but like they hadn't been on the show in a long time. The Rock hasn't been on WWE in a long time,
Wow. Yeah,
and
you know
John
it's
Cena
back. That's
hasn't.
true.
John
That's
Cena made
true.
appearance here and there, but it's back. Why? And it's only a matter before Bautista comes back too, because
Yeah.
where are these guys gonna get paid from? Oh, I got to go back to wrestling because that's that brought my bread for so many years. I'm still a name. I could
Yeah.
show up
That was
and
my
go
bread
do
and
that
butter.
for a
Yeah.
few months and I'll be good. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't act right now. Rock can't act right now. John Cena can't act right now. Dave Bautista can't act right now. So they're gonna go back into it. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
That's
that kind of
true.
shit. That's the kind of shit
Wow, I didn't
that
think
that
about
scares
that.
me about. It scares me about the strike. Because when you have these MFers coming back to do this, where they retired because they didn't want to put their body through everything, and they're like, "Oh shit, I got to do it because like The Rock has a production company and he has a lot of employees that he's
Yeah, he's
probably
gotta
like, yo,
pay
I got to go
someone.
back to work because I got to pay people." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Now, there
Yeah.
are some studios though that and
Mm-hmm.
independent film studios that are in compliance with the SAG's AFTRA stuff. So there are some actors that are working right now, some bigger names because they're
Mm-hmm.
working with an
I think it's
independent or
824.
A24 is a
824 is
big
one of
one.
those. It's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the
So
biggest one of the independents. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, there's some hope, but it's the bigger ones that is the big issue. And
Yeah.
I kind of want to go into now talking about the kind of a little bit about the superhero situation that we're going through these days.
Yeah.
Especially we had an Aquaman movie trailer that just released. We didn't talk about what we thought about that, but
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, what's going on with that? Because
Whew.
from my standpoint, it just seems like people are kind of tired. Like they're like, all right, Marvel had its 10 years of superhero time. They did really, really well. And now the studios are trying
It's
to
too many.
redo it, and it's failing pretty bad.
You know what it
For
is?
Marvel, for DC, it's bad.
I'll be honest with you. It's very simple. You diluted the waters. You put you overdid it. You
Yeah.
said, and I'm looking directly at Kevin Feige because DC was always having trouble finding its footing. So they had movies that quote unquote bombed. They really didn't bomb, but because it wasn't performing as well as Marvel, people thought it bombed.
Yeah.
I'm looking directly at Marvel in this one. They had a very successful formula with these films. You came off of the high that was the Infinity War saga with Infinity War and Endgame. It was a massive high. Okay. Um, and what they did was, and this kind of goes in line with the streaming wars. We have an app coming out, Disney Plus. We need content. We need shows. So let's throw some shows on there. Okay, you got some shows. Oh, let's throw we need movies. So we need at least 3 or 4 movies per year. When you dilute the content and you put too much in a single year for people to follow along, it becomes too much. It
It
becomes
becomes
too
too
much.
much,
It's
and
not
then things.
special.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
It's
true.
not
It
special.
it's not
One of
special
the things that
anymore.
made one of the things that
Yeah.
made comic book movies special was because you knew that there was maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 in a year. Dude, you look in a calendar year, in a regular calendar year, you're getting like 5 or 6 superhero movies, you know?
Or
And
shows,
general,
yeah,
yeah. Oh, and
yeah.
that
Oh,
doesn't include the shows. That doesn't
are
include
you
the shows.
combining, like, DC and Marvel
No,
together?
I'm talking about, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm talking about DC and
Like,
Marvel
5
together.
movies. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. And then that doesn't include the shows in between. You know what I'm saying? So people, and when I mean people, again, I don't mean us. We're fans. We're going to watch it. But we're
Yeah.
talking about general audiences. The general audiences are the people that went to go see the Marvel movies, because they were fun, they were colorful, they were funny, they weren't too serious. It was a good escape. But when you give people too much of that, it's not special anymore. You know, movies, and this is what I think is gonna happen coming out of this whole strike and all these things. I think we're gonna make a lot of emphasis. Studios, actors, directors, they're gonna make emphasis on making movies feel special. And that's one thing that the superhero movie genre has lost. It's not special. You can talk up a movie being
Mm,
special, like The Flash.
mm.
You know, Warner Brothers talked up The Flash being special. I enjoyed The Flash. I
I
borderline loved The Flash, but it wasn't
I don't get why
special
people
for
hated that
general
movie.
audiences. It
I
wasn't
like that
special for
movie. I
general
get it.
audiences. There's a bunch, like, there's a lot of movies that came out that just weren't special. You needed something. It needed to be special, and I can, what we could throw in there. We could throw in Star Wars in this too. Star Wars
Yeah,
is something
it's
that it
another
used
one.
to be special. It's not
Yeah, you're
special
right.
anymore. With all the shows coming out on Disney Plus, the last movies which were kind of lackluster, which is a reason why we haven't gotten Star Wars movies. Which honestly, I really do think I'm sorry to just rip off a little bit. I really do think Lucasfilms needs to get Star Wars is a franchise that belongs in the movies. It needs to get back there, and it needs to be special. And that's
Mm,
the thing. You're trying to fit something that is special and that's meant to be on the big screen, and you're fitting it into a small screen, and it's taking away from what it means to people. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And we can throw Marvel in there, we can throw DC in there. Some of these things are special and they need to be treated as such. And because there's so many of these movies, and it's kind of like what Martin Scorsese said when talking about the comic book film genre. He's like, it's like a conveyor belt. It's like an amusement park. You just get in online
Yeah.
and you go for a ride, and that's
Yeah.
it. You go on a 2 hour ride, a 2 hour line. You get on the ride, and that's it. You're done. And it's like, movies aren't meant to be that. Movies are. We talk about it. We talk about what movies mean to us, and when we watch the movie at a particular time in our lives, what it meant to us. One of the reasons why I could see Jurassic Park over and over again. I love that movie. It's special to me. You know what I mean? You talk about Lord of the Rings, it's a
Yeah.
special
Special.
franchise for you. It means something. And but when you start taking these films and you just start mass producing them,
Well,
uh,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
like imagine you watched Jurassic Park came out yesterday and you're like, "Wow, amazing movie." And then they're like, "Okay, we're going to release Jurassic Park 2 coming this fall." And then they're like, "Oh, and we're
mhm,
also going to be putting a TV show about what's happening in between Jurassic Park 1 and Jurassic Park 2." Okay, the movie comes out. Okay, now this year we're going to do Jurassic Park 3 cuz I'm pretty sure also like it was you got I think in the Jurassic Park, I think it was a while before we got Jurassic Park 2, and then another long while before you got Jurassic Park 3. It wasn't like every year like how we're
nope,
making movies now, where it's like you just gotta wait a
mhm,
year. I mean,
yeah,
granted, I think with Lord of the Rings, you only waited a year as well, but those movies were filmed
because they
very
were shot,
differently.
they were all shot
Shot
back to back.
simultaneously. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
they were all shot back to back. It's not like now, and also there wasn't CGI effects like it was today.
no,
Yeah,
no,
Rodney was watching Lord of the Rings the other day, and we were talking about how they made that movie and how it's so
yeah.
different to today, where everything is
Mhm.
visual effects, which is another thing because they're also going to be going on. They're also finally
Ooh,
unionizing. Oh, big thing at Marvel VFX.
Marvel's in
Is
trouble. Marvel's in
yeah,
trouble.
they are in
Marvel's in trouble with
trouble.
that.
Kevin
They're in trouble with
Feige,
that.
I don't know what you're doing, but I
I
hope
don't envy you,
you got your
brother.
shit
I don't
together.
envy you,
I
but you're
don't
in
envy you a
trouble.
little
You're in
bit.
trouble.
He's in a
You're
hard
in
pickle
trouble.
because not only do you have that going, but then almost every single Marvel movie that has come out, I think, except for Guardians of the Galaxy, has been like not good. Like people
No,
have not been on board. Like it's
no,
not been good.
no.
And then you have
Because you're coming off of
DC.
the high, dude. You're coming off of the high
Yeah,
of
it has not been.
these films, and it's
What was it?
hard. What was outside of Guardians? It was Spider-Man that was the big hit.
Oh
Spider-Man was in
yeah,
2001. It was
2001,
in 2001. It was in December 2001 that it came out.
2021.
Yeah, 2000. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. 2021. It was in the summer of
I was like, are you talking about the
2021.
first Spider-Man? Am I
No,
confused?
no, no. I know. I said. I think I. No, it was.
Yeah, you were like,
It was in
you were so
December of.
confident. 2000.
I know. I was oozing confidence. Yeah, it was September of 2021. That's like 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
That was
Okay, and
2021.
the
Yeah.
reason that movie blew up again, I'll say this:
Fan
the reason
service.
that movie did well was straight up fan service, and because you brought Toby and Andrew Garfield. Honestly, you take Toby and Andrew Garfield out of that movie, I don't think that movie's that good. It might be a
I've only seen
controversial
it
take,
once. I
but I don't think
can't.
it's that good. I just
What
honestly,
if it didn't have them?
it to me, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a
Yeah.
nothing burger, but it just wouldn't be special. It'd just be like, okay, this is just another movie where you have a cameo with Doctor Strange, even though you technically this was another movie where you had a cameo of Doctor Strange, you had a cameo of Tobey Maguire, a cameo of
Well,
Andrew
you had all
Garfield,
technically all the villains from the other
all
movies.
the
That was like the
villains, and
big
again,
thing. Yeah.
to me, which to me is very telling of Tom Holland Spider-Man, where you have to use other villains and other characters in your movie to help boost you up. Little
Oh
suspect.
man.
But
Oh
anyway,
man. That's another.
anyway,
That's another
no,
topic.
but still, yeah, but still though,
Yeah.
it made that movie made bank in
Made
the
a
box
lot.
office. I
Yeah.
can't hate on it. It made a lot of money,
No.
and then we had to wait a long while until Guardians came out, and Guardians made okay money. It made 800 and something million, which is really good
It was a good
for
movie too. I will
for.
say
And it was
it's
to me,
very good.
yeah. I
It's
think
very
it's
good.
the best superhero movie of the year. Um, I think it is so far. It's the best one of the year.
I actually. Wait, was it Ant-Man and the Wasp, Guardians of the Galaxy, The Flash,
Spider-Man into the across the Spider-Verse,
oh, Cross the Spider-Verse, Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle, and then we have
Oh, we have Aquaman
the
coming
Marvels
out.
coming out in November. We have Marvels
Fuck.
coming out in November. Then we have
I forgot
Aquaman.
about the Marvels in November. I still don't know how I feel about that.
And let me tell you
I
something.
think that's gonna be a.
I feel I am scared for that movie just because. And you know what? Maybe it'll be okay because there has been kind of a break in between, and maybe the strike will help this movie actually because there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Dune was
What do
supposed
you
to
mean?
come
There's
out in
nothing
November.
there.
Between now and when that movie comes out, Marvels, there really isn't anything
I
big.
know, but people still never really liked the first movie. So why would you want to go and
I'm
watch
just
the
saying,
second
maybe
one?
people are hungry to go to the theaters and want a
To the
reason, and maybe
theater?
they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is MCU and blah blah blah." I don't know. I saw the preview. I liked it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see because I'm gonna support the movies. I'm gonna support the movies because
Yeah. Yeah.
I like going to the movies, and I'm gonna go see them. We saw the trailer. Me and my wife and my daughter. They were like, "Oh, yo, this looks kind of fun." I was like, "Okay, cool." You know,
And I really
but
like the Miss
yeah,
Marvel,
Miss
the
Marvel.
girl.
Yeah, I like her a
What's her
lot.
name?
But Imani
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like
But
her. I think she's
looking
cool.
at the trailer though, I was just looking at everything and I'm like, see, this is more of that same bullshit. The villain looks super generic, super just like,
Oh, the
oh, well,
villain looks like
I was
I
like
nothing about the
this
villain in this movie looks like it's gonna be good. That's why I'm worried about
at
this
all.
film. At least the
At all.
villain in
That
Guardians seemed a little bit more like
Oh, the villains in
not
Guardian. Listen, every
yeah,
superhero movie this year wishes they had the villain that Guardians had. He
yeah,
was phenomenal. He was
so
the
good.
best out of all the comic book movies this year. He was the best villain. He was the most intimidating. The most. He was a villain. He was just a bad
Oh God,
motherfucker. Like just he had no like
no,
yo, I
he was
had this
just bad.
conversation with somebody. I love villains like that. I love villains that I don't want you to humanize a villain. I want a villain to be a villain. I want a villain to be bad because they're
So you didn't
fucking
like
bad.
Jonathan Majors? Did you think they humanized Jonathan Majors? Was this Kang?
They try to. Yeah, they try to. And that's one of the can I ask you a question too? I'm gonna ask you a question. I actually recently rewatched Quantum Mania. And I liked
Oh,
it a
did
lot
you?
better the second time around. Yeah. But I think we talked about it. We
We
thought the movie
didn't
was
hate.
good. We
Yeah,
didn't
we didn't
hate
hate
it.
on that
It's
movie.
just
No.
we just feel that the end of the movie
Yeah.
was very soft and that Kang should have won and he should have won outright. I don't want to hear this bullshit of like, oh, it's a trick by Kang. No. I don't want to see no trick.
No.
You whooped his ass, dude. you whooped his ass, and someone should have either died or someone should have been stuck in the quantum realm, never to come back.
Yeah.
There should have been some sort of sacrifice to really
Yeah.
drive home the impact that Kang is not to be trifled with, and we still have not yet seen that. Yeah, guess what? Loki's coming out. We'll have to see Loki and see what happens there. See, that's the problem, Mel. So you're telling general
I'm
audiences that, oh
excited to
yeah,
see Loki
you.
though.
No, I am too, because to me that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best. That's the best show
Disney
that
Plus
Marvel
show.
has done ever has done. Um, but you're telling, but that's us, a general audience person. They're gonna be like, wait, I gotta watch a show about this guy. No, it's not about this guy. It's about Loki. Oh, he has a show? A lot of people don't know. They don't know. They'll be like, yo, but wait, didn't Loki die? No, he has a show. Yeah, season 2. Wait, there's 2 seasons? I'm
You
telling
should
you.
make a TikTok of that. That was so.
Yo, dead ass. Dead ass. I'm telling you, man. You're laughing, but there's people that don't know this. They don't know that this is happening. So when you ask me the question, Mel, what's happening with superhero movies?
I'm
It's
crying.
that.
I was hoping.
General audiences literally do not know what's going on because you have this show on this app, this show on this
Yeah.
app, this movie's coming out, and then the
Not
movie isn't
everyone
very
has Disney
good.
Plus. No, not everyone's paying for Disney Plus so they could see
Not
this
everybody's
in
paying for
between
that shit,
stuff.
man.
No,
Like, yo,
no.
like I told you the example when we went to go see Black Panther and Julia Louise Dreyfus showed up. People are like, yo, who the fuck is this? No, when we went to see Black Panther, there was somebody in the theater that said, yo, who's that? Yo, what is she in this movie? They didn't know. They're like, yo, who is that? So you're using a main, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, come on, man. Yo, y'all got Disney Plus, Marvel. Y'all gotta do better than this, man. Y'all gotta do better because you guys didn't rely in the first few phases of the MCU. In the first few phases of the MCU, y'all didn't do you didn't do this. You used the movies to set up the other movies, and you did it very,
Yeah,
very neatly. It was all connected nicely.
yeah.
I don't even what phase we're in phase 5 now. I have no idea what the hell's going on in this phase. This is more of phase. This is phase 4. This is like phase 4.2 or something. I have no idea. You The only reason I know Kang is the big bad is because you told me Kang is the big bad. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen any reason why I need to fear Kang. Looking at the Marvels, I don't think we're gonna see anything there either. I don't see
Like
anything.
that.
It'll
No
be
thread, no common thread in that.
no common thread. What I gotta see an
No.
end credit? What, to see his face pop up? Like, oh yeah, I didn't really die. Like, watch them use the Marvels as a way of showing that Kang didn't really die in Ant-Man Quantumania. He was actually there. Watch them do some shit like that, and that'll be so corny. Like, you should have just kept it in the original movie. Which I've heard rumors that they said that they did shoot an ending where I guess he won or whatever. I don't know. I heard rumors about that. I don't know how real that
Oh.
is.
Well,
And
that's
if they
also
did,
a
they
whole
should have
other
just kept
ordeal
it.
though, with the
They
whole
should have just
Jonathan
kept it.
Majors, because we also know
Yeah.
that there's a whole other ordeal happening with Jonathan Majors
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
legal stuff.
Yeah.
So it's everybody's like, okay, well, what does this mean for the future of his
Yeah.
character, and are they going to keep him? There's so much with that which we don't want to get into, but
Yeah. And you know
um,
what? Let me just finish up with this because I was getting on Marvel, and I'm not here just to whip on Marvel. Let me whip on DC a little bit. DC is in a situation where they're going through a transition. They're going through a whole thing where they're restarting, you know, and they're in a tough spot because they had things already lined up from a previous regime. Now you have James Gunn and Peter Safran, who they're like, yo, we're restarting the universe, we're doing our own thing.
mhm.
But what happened? You had a bunch of movies that were still lined up that were coming out that were based off of an idea of an old regime. So
Yeah,
I think James Gunn knew he had to bite the bullet. At this point, James Gunn's like, yo, these movies are gonna come out. It is what it is. We'll have to take it on the chin.
we're gonna
Literally,
have to
that's what
take
I
the
think he
hit.
did.
Yeah,
We're gonna take it on the chin. It's gonna hurt, but you know what? It's gonna be better for the future because we can't keep running this shit the way it was run before.
but also like, what was he like? What they couldn't just be like, we're not releasing the Flash, we're not releasing Blue Beetle. Like they
No.
have to release it. Like
They
it'd be
already they
crazy
already
if
got a lot of shit. They already got a lot of shit
yeah.
for not releasing Batgirl, and a lot of people are pissed off. Oh, you should have released Batgirl. Which let me tell you something right now. Those people that are saying that, they're fucking bullshitters too. You wouldn't go see that movie either, and you'd be online talking shit about that movie. That pisses me off so much. Those people that
Mm,
say, "Oh, you should have released Batgirl and this and that. You released a Flash and this and that." Why? So you can talk shit about Batgirl? If the studio and the people
yeah.
doing the movie saw and they were like, "Yo, this movie's not up to code." If they released the Flash and the Flash wasn't up to code, then what do you think Batgirl was gonna look
Gr-
like?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whether that movie came out or didn't come out, everybody involved got paid. They got their money. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
who's to
It
say
sucks,
that they
but
don't
yeah.
come back and do it? Who does to say they don't come back and do the movie again under James Gunn's regime? Because remember, what
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
doing was at that point was cutting their losses because James
Mhm.
Gunn, I imagine that David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Discovery, had a meeting with Safran and Gunn, and they were like, "Yo, we have these movies. Come on, can you integrate them into some way with your idea?" They probably said, "No, we want nothing. We want to start over fresh because if we bring back Henry Cavill, we bring back Ben Affleck, if we do all this shit and we try to keep it going,
Oof.
people are still gonna talk and clamor about the Snyderverse." And again, I love the Snyderverse. I did. It had its time. It's not working and it's not gonna work because Zack Snyder himself moved on. He's not coming
Yeah.
back. He's in Netflix and he's doing awesome shit in Netflix. Focus on that. The Snyderverse thing is done. Let Saffron and let James Gunn cook. Let them do what they got to do. So
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
did was like, yo, these movies are not part of the new the DCU. The DCU is going to start with Superman Legacy. It's going to start there. That's James Gunn's movie, and they got a Superman, they got a Superman, and they got Lois
Lois.
Lane. They got both those actors in. They said Blue Beetle is part of it. Now, the movie of Blue Beetle itself isn't in the universe, but the character and the characters in it are a part of it. And they specifically did say Solo Maridueña is in it, which I love because I loved
Oh, they
Blue
did?
Beetle.
Oh,
Awesome
did they say
movie.
that? I didn't know that.
He
Was that
said he
confirmed?
said that he said I'm not gonna say I'm 100% sure, but I do feel like I remember reading on Twitter because James Gunn said when you hear stuff, hear it from him directly because there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
put a lot of BS out there. I believe he did say that the character of Blue Beetle, particularly Soro Maridueña, is part of it.
Oh, that's great.
And
That
going
makes me
into and
happy.
then going into Aquaman, they've said Jason Momoa's Aquaman is part of their
Oh, they
universe
did.
too. They
Oh,
said that. They said that.
interesting.
Now the funny thing is going around is with Gal Gadot because there's some people there's rumors going around saying that
Oh, because they
she's
never said
part of it.
no.
They
Yeah.
never said no, but the thing is, I never heard them say call her by name saying she's in it, so I don't know what that is, and I'm not going to run with a rumor because to me, if the person who's running shit tells you, if you don't hear it from me, chances are it's bullshit. If I don't confirm it, it's bullshit. So again, DC is going through a transition. They were never as popular as Marvel in the movies because especially post post Nolan, they were never as popular in the movies as Marvel was
Yeah.
because Marvel had a plan and they stuck to it and they did it
Yeah.
perfectly. They did it as perfect as you can. Zack Snyder had a plan. The studio didn't want to follow his plan because they were like, well, why aren't you making Avengers 1 type money? Why aren't you making $2 billion? You have
Yeah.
Batman and Superman in the film, and then they followed along with critics criticizing their film, saying, "Oh, well, it's too serious, it's too dark, and this and that." And they should have just let Zack Snyder do what he had to do because he would have been done by now. You would have been restarting anyway.
Yeah.
But then all
Yeah.
that controversy screwed up everything.
Everything.
Suicide Squad
Everything.
that came out originally was in shambles because it wasn't like Deadpool. I don't know, dude. When you get a chance, Mel, David Ayer, the director of Suicide Squad,
The one
he's
with
on
Will
a
Smith? That Suicide Squad?
yeah,
Or the other
yeah,
one? The first one.
yeah, the
Okay.
original one, the original one. He's on a podcast with Dave. Was it the actor Dave Bernthal, Punisher from
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
the
Yeah.
he's on a podcast with it and it's great, and he talked about that film and he talked about how
I
that
think it's
film
John's
broke
name.
him. John Bernthal, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. he talked about how that process of that movie broke him, and how pretty much the studio wanted the movie to play more like Deadpool. And
Oh.
his film, the Suicide Squad film that he made, his version was very, very much dark and very, like, grounded.
Yeah.
It wasn't a comedy. So what did that studio did? He had his editor. He had an editor that he always worked with that knows the way he likes his movies. The studio literally gave the movie to a editing company that edits trailers. That's how they edited the movie. That's
Oh,
why that movie, when you see it,
wow.
it has all this music and all this stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
he's like, that's not my style. He's like, if you see my movies, none of my movies have that. That's not me. That's not him. And it's true. If you look at any David Ayer movie from the past, that's not, anybody could see that movie and be like, that's not your movie, because you
Yeah.
can tell. It's like Peter Jackson. Like, a Peter Jackson movie. I know a
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan movie. I know a Martin Scorsese movie. So if you show me something that they did, I'm like, that's not their movie. Everybody has a signature.
Mhm.
And that's what
Mhm.
happened with that. So again, just to bring it back to this whole DC thing, they're going through their shit. Um, hopefully,
Well,
and there's a delay on that too, because that's supposed to come out. That was supposed to come out in
oh, the
2025.
Superman? The Superman movie?
Yes. Again,
So,
and this is another thing with the strike. When is that movie really coming out? He submitted by the way, he submitted the script for it before the strike happened.
okay.
James Gunn, because he wrote it.
All right, I have two things. Number
Yeah.
one, we forgot to mention another movie that came out this year, another superhero movie, Shazam 2. That
Oh,
also
there
came
you
out
go.
this
Look at
year.
that.
In
We
which
forgot about it.
I remembered when you said Gal Gadot, because remember she had that whole
Mm-hmm.
cameo in it. That
Mm-hmm.
movie is pretty much was a movie that was made for nothing because it had an ending that I think they were supposed to be continuing, but none of those characters are back. I don't think are in anywhere connected, so it's just like pointless.
Mm-hmm.
And then damn it, I forgot what the second thing was. Damn it, what was the second thing? What was the last thing you just said about movies?
Oh, about DC and about DC and about how
Shoot, I think I forgot what it
the
was.
Superman was supposed to come out in 2025,
Oh, there we go.
and
So
yeah,
if that wasn't supposed to come out until 2025, what was gonna was DC not gonna have anything for 2024?
Joker's coming out. Joker 2 is coming out in 2024.
Just that.
But Joker 2 is its own. It's in its own
Yeah,
elseworld,
kind of
and he
like
acknowledged
Batman.
that. Yeah, he
Kind of
said
like
as he
Batman.
acknowledged, he's like Batman and the Joker, they're in their own separate universe, and they'll keep it that way because they like that. So yeah, there was
Yeah.
not going to be anything, and he systematically did that on purpose, which is smart. It's to
Yeah.
give it a gap, almost like a gap year. Like, listen, this is not connected to anything. This is a fresh restart, which I like. I like
Gives you
that.
time to
I
kind
think
of like
the best thing they did was just take their foot off the gas, turn the engine off,
yeah.
pull over to the side, and just be like, listen, you know what? This car has had enough. Let's let it die here, and let's go get a new car.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
he's
Good
doing.
analogy.
And
Yeah.
now we just gotta see. Now we just gotta see what he does, and that's it. But honestly,
I
I
mean,
think it
I
came. I
have
think
high
all this
hopes.
is
I mean,
happening at the
he's
right
good.
time. I think it's happening at the
Yeah.
right time for them, because you're in a Marvel's in a. I think Marvel's in a tougher situation, because
Oh
Marvel is
yeah.
in a situation where, I mean, look at the rumors of Fantastic Four. Supposedly, they had a group of actors aligned that they wanted the role, and a lot of them didn't want it. They didn't want it. Apparently, Marvel was not paying as much as they wanted, the money they wanted,
Yeah.
and a lot of people kind of stood back. Now, I heard one actor that is locked up is this one actress called Vanessa Kirby, and that's what they're saying is going to be the Invisible Woman, but that's not official. And then
Vanessa
you hear
Kirby.
other
Yeah.
names of Mr. Fantastic. Like, the strongest rumor was that Adam Driver was going to be Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That was the one that was out there, and supposedly they said no, he turned it down because I guess the money he was asking for they weren't willing to shell out for. So who knows what's going to happen with that movie? Because see, that's the big movie that they need to get off the ground. That's the
Oh
big movie
yeah.
that they need to get off the ground.
Yeah.
That's huge
And they
for
have to
them,
do it
because
right because if not,
I really do think what's happening is this current universe that's going on right now. I don't know if it's interesting to people anymore. I think once you come off of the high that was Infinity War and Endgame, and you're introducing these other characters that might not draw people in, you
mhm.
need something. Like, you can. Marvel got away with having some secondary characters in there because for a long time Iron Man wasn't a major character, but when you have the cachet of Robert Downey Jr. and then you add him into the Avengers, it heightens him.
Yeah.
I think they tried to find that again with other actors and characters, and it hasn't hit the same way. You know what I mean? So I think what they're trying to rely on is pretty much okay. Well, we got Fantastic Four. Let's bring that in. They got Deadpool coming on next year, which I think Deadpool's going to be a massive hit. You know, Deadpool's going to make $1 billion. I'm predicting it now because it's a big movie. It has a lot of stars in it. There's going to have a lot of little surprises. Plus, you know, I think next year, being that we're going to see, I guess, less movies because of what's happening with the strike and things
Yeah,
being
yeah,
moved.
yeah. There's
I
definitely
think
going
it's
to
gonna
be
be
a
that's gonna be an
delay.
event film. They can market that
Yeah.
with the event film, and hopefully the strike is over then, where you could have the that whole cast of that movie, which will
But
probably
they
be
didn't
announced.
finish filming that.
No, they didn't, but I don't think they have much left. To be honest with you, I don't think they have much left.
When was
So
this movie
uh,
projected to come out?
no, September of next year.
That's not coming out. If they haven't
I think
finished
it'll get.
filming, it's definitely going to be moved to like the next year. I
You think
mean,
so?
they're gonna have.
Wow,
Well, I mean, if they haven't finished filming, and let's say
damn,
this
that's
goes on
huge.
until December or January, there's no way that movie would be
Yeah, you're right.
finished, edited, CGI'd, all that stuff by
And then they
November.
gotta do if they gotta
Impossible.
do reshoots too. In case if they gotta
Yeah,
do reshoots too.
it's.
Shit, I didn't think about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh my
There's no
god, that
way.
would be
There's no way it's
honestly to
coming
me that would
out.
be disastrous. That would be disastrous because again, man, I can't wait to see the calendar, the movie calendar for next year. I want to do an episode with you on that because we got to really play movie scheduling the movie
Yeah.
scheduling game to see like okay what comes out and what was moved to come out and what was supposed to come out that's not going to
It,
come out
that's not come out anymore. Yeah, because there's no
because they were
way.
shooting that they were shooting the new Captain America movie. Did they finish shooting that? I don't even know if they got to finish shooting that because I know they were in the
I didn't
process of
even.
shooting that. And the other one
Oh.
the one with Black Widow characters and
Oh,
Harrison Ford
Thunderbolts.
was in it. Thunderbolts, they were shooting that too. And I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, like, did they even get to finish shooting that? Like, I'm telling you, man, this whole strike thing has
It's
everything
it's
lopsided.
literally the
It's
pandemic all over again.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it's bad.
crazy. So you know
Really bad.
what? It's just bad all around. But
Just
one
bad
thing
all
that is
around.
not bad, one thing that is not bad, and so we
Oh
can start
yeah.
wrapping up the episode. I'm gonna talk about a movie that I think, in my personal opinion, is the biggest movie of the year. And no, it's not Barbie. No, it's not Super Mario Brothers. My personal
I still haven't
opinion,
seen that.
the biggest movie of the year is Oppenheimer. Just let me run with this for a second, Mel. Oppenheimer is a 3 hour period biopic
Yeah.
slash political drama. There is
Yeah.
no action in this movie. There is no guns. There is no fighting. There is a sex scene in it, which is done very cleverly well, which I'm surprised even Nolan did that. That's like the most riskiest thing I've ever seen Nolan done
There's a sex scene in
involving
that movie?
sex. Yes.
Oh.
And
Weird.
it's super
Okay.
uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable, but that's the point. And that's why it's such a genius scene.
Oh.
Um, Again, it's all that stuff. Again, no action, nothing of that sort. A lot of talking. It's a 3 hour movie. It is literally on the verge of making $1 billion. And it came out in the middle of the summer. Only one man can do that, and that man is
Is
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
It is,
Dun dun
to me, it
dun.
is incredible. It is incredible that this film it's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable that this film has made this much money in a space of what it is. Again, it's a
Yeah,
movie
you're
where
right.
it's talking. It's a
Talking.
lot of it is talking. Yes, there is some form of spectacle in it,
Mm-hmm.
but once that spectacle is gone, it's back to the talking. But that's the genius of the film. It pulls you in. The acting. Let me tell you something right now. I know you love acting, Mel.
Yes.
The acting in this movie is some of the best acting I've seen in a long time. Like it took me to like The Revenant in that form of acting.
Oh
It's
wow.
very raw, and you can see that this movie, everybody involved, it's almost like they were living in that moment of where that movie was taking place. The emotion, how invested they were. I wrote it on Twitter and I think I sent it to you. If Oppenheimer does not win major awards, I'm not talking technical, I'm talking major awards,
Uh huh.
cancel the Oscars. Just cancel it. They shouldn't even come back. It shouldn't even come back. Because first of all, let me give credit to credit where credit is due. And I'm going just with the acting. I'm not going with the directing aspect of it. Killian Murphy was J. Robert Oppenheimer. Killian Murphy,
I mean, he's a fantastic
who's a
actor.
phenomenal actor, but he doesn't get his due. A lot of people don't really know him like that.
Yeah.
He was so good in this movie. He does this. It's something that just something that Nolan does with actors that act with their eyes. Like he did it. He always does it with Tom Hardy. It's just something with Tom Hardy in his eyes. But Killian Murphy, his eyes, and these he has these very crisp blue eyes.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it evokes a horror because of the act of what he knows he's doing. I really want you to see
Yeah.
this movie. I would love for you to see it, but
I know. I haven't seen it
it's
yet.
the
I mean, I have.
horror.
I will,
It's
but yeah.
it's it's the horror of he knows what he's doing. He knows the act and where it leads, and then when it happens, and then afterwards, it is something that is incredibly powerful, and it's heartbreaking, and you see the pain in his face. It's not fake, and that's why I said it felt real. Another person that needs to win an Oscar in this movie has to. It should just be given to him already. Robert fucking Downey Jr. He reminded me again. He's he is a he is a Hollywood icon, and I'm not even talking
Yeah.
about Iron Man because to me in Iron Man he's just playing himself. Here he reminds you, no, I can
Yeah.
fucking act. I can act. In
Yeah.
this movie, oh my god, Mel, he is
Who
fucking
is he in
chewing up
this movie?
scenery. He plays this person. His last name is Strauss. I forgot the first name, but he's the antagonist to
Oh.
J. Robert
Okay.
Oppenheimer at that time. One was pushing one particular type of technology for a bomb. The other one was pushing another, and it's pretty much about
Oh.
controlling and manipulating the information coming out. So they were
Okay.
kind of rivals. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's done in such a way, and Robert Downey Jr. is so good. And then when you see the cast as a whole, the entire cast is just it, it it's like an all-star team. It's like when you see like
Mhm.
the NBA All-Star game. Not
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
it's just you see a really well-run, well-oiled team coming
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
That's what this movie is. So when you see that and you see how it happens and you see the outcome, and of course, last kudos goes to the man himself, Christopher Nolan. I, I don't know what else this man needs to do to cement the legacy of him winning an Oscar. And I know I've always said the Oscars to me, this lost a lot of luster because I don't think it's that. But to a lot of people in the industry, the Oscar does mean something. And I
Yeah.
know Nolan being the historian that he is, I know the Oscar means something to him. He needs to win it for this movie. If he doesn't win an
Yeah.
Oscar for this movie, then I don't know what else that man needs to do. He needs to win
Mhm.
it because what he did in this movie, the technical achievement that he did, but not even the technical achievement, it's what he pulls off on screen. It's the performances that he gets and the way he shoots it and the way it looks. You can't help but be in awe. Like I saw this movie in IMAX in a full fucking theater. It's a 3 hour movie where it's just talking in the middle of the summer. In the middle of the summer, we expect Avatar levels of film.
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity War. We expect, Barbie. We expect something like that. It's like this isn't that
Yeah.
type of movie, but it did.
It's
It
still it
drew
delivered.
people
Yeah.
in. It
Mhm.
delivered and it's so powerful. And to me, that movie, to me, in my personal opinion, is the biggest hit of the year. Because what other movie does that? What other movie delivers a 3 hour movie where it's talking, it's a biopic, and it's a political courtroom drama? Just think about that. That shit sounds boring, but it
Yeah.
wasn't boring. It was intriguing. It drew you in. It scared you. Oh my God. Let me tell you something right now. The last, the ending of that movie, it shakes you. It does. It can't help but shake you because it's the message of what it tells you. And it's scary. And it's like, holy shit, you know? Because look at the times we're living in right now. We're living in very strange times, scary
Yeah.
times. So
Yeah.
this movie is almost a reminder of this has happened before. It can happen again.
Yeah.
And it's scary. And this movie did it. And again, I got to give special kudos to um Christopher Nolan, the entire cast. This movie was phenomenal, and I think in the Oscars, it it should win big, and it needs to win big. It has to. If Hollywood wants to deliver a message to movie going audiences about, don't worry, we hear you, we know you don't like a lot of the product that's out there, we're gonna deliver. That's the movie. Because if
Mm.
you really want to tell people this is how movies should look, this is how people care. Like when I sent you that text message about Peter Jackson and Lord of the Rings and
Oh
how I
yeah.
felt Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
won. It's like that.
Every year.
Nolan
Yeah.
cares. Nolan cares and loves his movies
Hmm.
like Peter Jackson did. There's a love. Like another movie that's coming out this year, and it's funny. The trailer for this movie is called Flowers of the Blood Moon, I believe it is. It was Martin Scorsese and Leo DiCaprio. That trailer looks phenomenal. Oh my god! When you get a chance to look at it, that movie looks phenomenal.
Oh
And
yeah.
My friend Lou said that, yo, this movie looks great. And I'm like, yo, this is why I respond to him. Yo, it looks amazing. It looks so good. It looks amazing. I was like, but it's unfortunate. It came out the same year as Oppenheimer. That's what I
Oh
said to him. Because
no. Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
listen, it's unfortunate, but Oppenheimer did something that I can't
yeah.
ignore. Because
Yeah.
if you look at that movie, the trailer that I told you about, there's action in there. There's shooting. It's kind of like almost like because it's Martin Scorsese, so there is almost like a mafia, like kind of like a
Yeah.
gun thing. So there's an action element there. This movie doesn't have action.
Been action.
It's gonna make
The
it passed
bomb is the
900
action, I
million.
guess.
Yeah, it is. But then that's not even, and that's the thing.
That's
See,
not
that's where the movie
really.
tricks you. That's where it tricks you. It is, but it isn't because it's everything that happens after. It's the fallout of the
Mm,
explosion and what
yeah.
it meant to everybody involved. And that's where it pulls you in
Mhm.
more. And
Mhm.
that's where the I like in Oppenheimer, one thing I always tell people too is Oppenheimer was like a horror movie. People always say, yo, I wonder what a Nolan horror movie would look like. This is it. Because remember, Nolan likes to ground things in reality. What is more
Yeah.
scarier than real life? And especially an event that actually happened,
Happened. Yeah.
where people died, real
Yeah.
people,
People
hundreds and
died.
thousands of people died. But not only that, Mel, it's the after effects. And that's where the ending
Mhm.
comes into play. And I'm not going to say anything more on that, but it's the repercussions and the chain reaction of what happens. So yes, please, anybody, if you haven't seen this movie, do not doubt it. Go see it. Go watch it. I wanted to see it again, but I want to see it again. I think they're gonna. I hope to God that they bring it out. And I think they will bring it out back on IMAX, but particularly IMAX 70 millimeter. Mel, this is how popular this movie was. I went to IMAX to see it, but it was like a regular IMAX. I wanted to see it in 70 millimeter. The only theater that has it is the one in 66th Street in downtown Manhattan,
Oh
the
yeah, by
AMC.
Lincoln. Yeah.
Now, this is how popular this movie was. This movie came out there. It was sold out every show for 3 fucking weeks. Mel, the nosebleeds
Wow.
in the front of the screen gone. This is how I knew this movie. I was like, no, this movie's something. This movie's special.
Wow.
3 weeks
They don't have
worth.
that here.
Every
Yeah.
show. Morning, they had a show in the morning, midday, afternoon, and at night.
It's three
Every single
hours,
show.
so
Sold out.
they only
Sold
yeah.
out. Sold out.
Wow.
Hey, that's it, man. That's it. That's it. I'm telling you.
Damn. Yeah,
Go
they don't
see it,
have
Mel.
really
Please go see
IMAX
it.
theaters here. Yeah.
No, but you know
Really was
what?
like,
Even if you can't see it, if you have an opportunity to see it, go see it. But if not, go watch it and go watch it on the big screen. Watch it the way Christopher Nolan would want you to see it, to experience it, to see that, to see this beautifully shot movie, the sound. Oh, the other thing I didn't give credit, that I didn't talk about much was the score. Oh my god, there's this track called "Can You Hear the Music?" I believe that's what it's called.
yeah.
It's perfection, perfection.
Oh
I'm
wow.
saying this movie
Well,
needs to win. This movie needs to win in a lot of categories.
in a lot of categories, like Lord of the
A
Rings
lot of
categories.
categories.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I'm
They need to
gonna.
give this man. They need to give this man his Return of the King moment that they gave to. You know how the
Yes,
Oscars were
Peter
like, "Yo, you know
Jackson.
what, Peter Jackson? That's it. Wait, Peter Jackson, listen here, take them all."
Just take all the
Because they're like,
awards.
"Yo, we
Yeah.
can't." The Oscars. It would have been criminal if the Oscars would have let Peter Jackson not get his just due. It
Oh,
would have been
absolutely. Well,
criminal because
I'm
they knew, they
still,
were like, "Yo,
but it is interesting because the Oscars are in February normally, aren't they?
yeah,
There has but they can't announce anything. I feel like by
mm-mm,
now they would have announced it, wouldn't they? I
mm,
don't.
it's too late. It's too early."
Is it
Award
too
season,
early?
remember, award season, yeah, it's too early. You'll hear
When do they
about the
normally
Oscar
announce it?
nominations, no, in January.
But it can't be
In
January if it's in
October,
February.
no, they announce it because what they'll do is they'll send out to the Academy members, which again, this is gonna be interesting. The Academy members will get their voting thing around October for movies that will
Mm.
qualify. They have to wait for everything to come in, and then in January they have to tally up everything, and then they name
Yeah.
the nominees. But I again, this whole strike situation has me a little. I'm wondering, dude. Like honestly, I'm really starting to wonder. Are they even going to have an Academy Awards this year? Just because a lot
Well,
of the
that's what I was
Academy
like.
members are actors, and would actors go to the point of revolting to the point of not even voting for to nominate things
Ooh.
just to screw over? Because remember, where is the Oscars held on? It's on ABC. It's a Disney company. So if you want to
Oh.
hurt, you see what I'm saying? So I don't know,
Yeesh.
man. And this is gonna get very
Oof.
interesting. It's gonna get very
Yeah, no,
interesting.
you're right. Yeah, it is. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Hmm.
Well, I guess that does today's pod video,
Yeah,
pod episode. Yeah, we
yeah.
talked about a lot today. I know
We
we
did.
are going to be there's some other things that we really want to chat about
Hmm.
in the future here. I still want, and this is something we could definitely cover, but I still want to do an episode where we just talk about like the Netflix sports shows. So like Formula One, the tennis show. Did you see the quarterback one? The
I
NFL
haven't
one?
finished. I gotta finish it. I gotta finish it. I
I
haven't
haven't finished it
finished it.
either. I think I've watched like 2 episodes. So
I
that
think I'm on
one, like,
episode 2.
yeah, we're probably in the same one. And then the tennis one, I think I'm halfway through on Breakpoint
I'm
because I know they
halfway
release
on
new
that one too.
episodes.
Yeah, I'm
So
halfway on that
I
one.
want to do an episode where we literally just talk about that because I know we could talk for that for a
You
while.
know, if Netflix is gonna have to work on stuff, then give us more shows like that. Give me more F1. Give me more other sports. Like,
I'm ready
give
for
me
the
more
golf
stuff
one.
like
When's
that.
the next season for the golf one coming? I never thought I'd be excited to talk about
But
golf.
we gotta
But
wait till
like
next year. We gotta wait till next year because I can't wait to see that. Because like I
the
told you,
whole
they said that the cameras were rolling when the whole live merger happened. They said the
yeah.
cameras were rolling, and they said
Oh,
the
I can't
footage
wait.
they got. They said the footage they got is amazing.
I can't wait. I really want to see that. And
Hmm.
obviously Formula One with Vegas and all that
Hmm.
stuff. So that'll all be next year.
I want them to expand. I would love them to include basketball in there. I would love them to include baseball in there. Like
Well, they
really,
have that other
really
one.
expand stuff.
They have that French one, that Tour de France
Oh,
one, the biking
the Tour
one.
de France one. I was
Yeah,
watching some of that, and it's actually really interesting too. So get into that one.
they're
That one
yeah.
wasn't bad. I saw the first few episodes of that one. I just didn't get back to it because I got busy doing other stuff. But these
So still
Netflix
because there's so
sports
much.
documentaries, they're really
They're
good.
really good. Yeah, they're
Really,
really
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 good.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. But anyway, all right. Well, I guess we are wrapping up our time here, guys. Thanks so much for listening and for watching this episode. I should be back on the channel here doing some more reality TV things coming up. I've got Love Is
Reality
Blind.
TV.
I know. Love Is Blind is coming out, and then also I think I might be covering. Rod, have you heard about the Golden Bachelor? Have you heard the news?
What? No, I don't know about any of this. I
So
don't
you
really
know The
like that show,
Bachelor,
but
right? You know what The
okay.
Bachelor is, right?
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
heard of The
yeah, yeah,
Bachelor
yeah.
or Bachelorette. So
Of
now they're
course, of course.
finally doing the Golden Bachelor, which means it's like old people. So The
Oh, that's
Bachelor is like
interesting.
yeah, The Bachelor is like in his 70s, and all the women are like older women's in their 60s
Oh,
and
that's
70s.
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, it's different, and like I think it happened
Wow.
during the pandemic, they kept announcing it. It kept saying at the end, looking for like older people for The Bachelor. And everybody was like, oh my God, they're doing like old Bachelor. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
finally announced. And it's like this guy who's like his wife died years ago or whatever. And he's looking for love again. And it's like a whole bunch of like older women. And I've been watching Bachelor, by the way. My friends watch a lot because I've watched The Bachelor and Bachelorette for a very long time. But then I
Mm-hmm.
kind of just fell out of it because I just felt like it was the same thing over and over. None of these couples ever stay together. I'm like, what's the point? So I just stopped watching. After the whole Chris Harrison fallout, I just stopped watching. But
Mm-hmm.
this, it piqued my interest. So I think I'm going to be covering it on the channel because I think
All
it'd be
right.
super
Oh, you
freaking
should.
fun.
You should, because I know those
Yeah.
shows really hit off for the channel. People love to hear your reactions on it. So
Yeah. So I'm like,
I would definitely tune in on that one. Definitely.
yeah, like it'd just be interesting because like that's something new that no one has seen. Because like yeah, we've seen The Bachelor, but like this is like older people, so like you don't know how
Yeah.
they act.
It's a
Like, are
cool
they gonna be
dynamic.
like,
It's a different
yeah,
dynamic. Yeah.
a different dynamic for the show? So I'm interested to see how that would be. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, guys, if you liked this video, please like that button. If you are listening, please click the like button or follow button, and also click the subscribe
Subscribe.
button.
Download
Subscribe
too.
and download as well if you're listening.
Yes.
But anyway, guys,
And
thanks so
spread the
much.
news. Spread the word.
Oh, always spread the word. Always. It's always a good time. Always. Rod, thanks so much for joining me today.
Peace out. I loved
Peace
it. It
out.
was great to be on, and we'll be back soon.
Yeah, we will be back soon. All right. Bye.